Hey young friends, Dr. Bill here. I'm back with another episode in our series of big names in the Bible. Today we're going to take another look at King Hezekiah. You may recall from last week's lesson that I started telling you about King Hezekiah, how he came to the throne when he was very, very young. How he determined that he would put right all of the bad and wrong things his father had done when he was king. So Hezekiah, as soon as he became king, he did several very important things. First, he refurbished the temple. That was the place where the people worshiped, and it had fallen into disrepair. So King Hezekiah got things moving so that the temple could be brought back up to its usual standard. As well, he reinstituted the observance of Passover, which is one of the greatest celebrations for the Hebrew people. It commemorated their escape from Egypt and the end to their slavery. As well, he told the priests that they had to start doing their jobs and doing them better. And finally, he removed all of the places of idol worship in the land of Judah. So Hezekiah did all of these really, really good things. And then last week, we also mentioned that once he had done all of those wonderful things, well, he faced a threat. King Sennacherib of Assyria intended to come and lay siege to the land of Judah and to the city of Jerusalem. He wanted to conquer them. We talked last week about all of the things that Hezekiah did to put an end to that threat. How he went about the city and tried to improve the defenses of the city. How he gathered leaders from all over the country and said, I need ideas. Help me understand how we can best prepare. And then as well, Hezekiah devoted himself to prayer. He realized that once he had done everything he knew to do, well, he had done all he could do. And you may recall that Hezekiah trusted God, and somehow, some way, by an act of God's extraordinary power, the army of Sennacherib, the army of Assyria, was vanquished, and the threat to the country of Judah and the city of Jerusalem was completely eliminated. That was really, really pretty cool. Well, today I want to talk about one important thing that Hezekiah did in preparation for the threat posed by the Assyrian army. As Hezekiah tried to get the city ready to face this threat, he realized that one of the things the people would need more than anything else was a secure supply of water. And so in the book of 2 Kings and also in the book of 2 Chronicles, one of the things we read about Hezekiah is that he ordered a tunnel to be dug. And that tunnel was to run from the spring of Gihon, which is where the city of Jerusalem got all of its water. He ordered that an underground tunnel be dug from the spring of Gihon into the city of Jerusalem. Now, the cool thing is that this tunnel is still there in Jerusalem today. It is about 1,750 feet long. And the tunnel was dug by people working from both ends. Somehow, without aid of all of the wonderful measuring instruments that engineers use today, somehow they were able to meet in the middle and created a tunnel so that water would flow all the way from the spring of Gihon into the city of Jerusalem. Now, if you ever go to Jerusalem, you'll find that if you buy a ticket, you can take a tour of that tunnel and walk all the way through it. It's really, really pretty cool. So here's the important thing about Hezekiah's tunnel and what we can learn from him as he made this tunnel possible. First, in digging the tunnel, or having it dug, Hezekiah showed us what good leaders do. He showed us what good kings and rulers do. Namely, he showed that he was interested in taking care of his people. He realized that if the Assyrian army came and besieged the city of Jerusalem, that means surrounding it so that nobody could get in or out. Well, one of the things that they would run short on would be food and then also water. So Hezekiah said, we've got to make sure that we have enough water for all the people. That's why he had the tunnel dug, to make sure the people would have water to drink. That's what good leaders do. They don't just look out after themselves. They look out after the people that are in their care and that are in their charge. So Hezekiah was a good king because he acted in the benefit of the people he led. That's lesson number 1. Here's lesson number 2. The tunnel that Hezekiah built ends in a place in the city of Jerusalem called the Pool of Siloam. And that's exactly what it sounds like. It sounds like a big swimming pool right there in the city. Well, there is a pool there. Interestingly enough, in the New Testament, in the Gospel of John, chapter 9, we have a story about Jesus healing a blind man. And one of the things that Jesus did when he healed this blind man was he said, I want you to go to the pool of Siloam and wash your face, wash your eyes. And once this blind man did that, he was able to see. Now, Hezekiah had no idea when he was digging the tunnel that centuries later, Jesus would come on the scene and use that pool as a place for someone to experience God's healing mercy. But that's the important lesson. There are lots of things that we do now that will benefit people down the road or sometime in the future. And that's important for us to remember. Our actions, the things that we do, have consequences not just for us right here in this moment, but they may have consequences that go and extend way out in time. And so who knows? Some of the things that we decide to do may actually benefit someone down the road, someone we never know. And that's the beauty of Hezekiah's work. He not only took care of his people, but he made it possible for God to do something great many, many, many years later. And that's a good thing for us to think about when we think about how we will live and the choices that we will make. They may do something for us now, but they may also have a benefit and a good result sometime down the road in the future. Well, that'll do it for today, and that's our last lesson on King Hezekiah. Next week, I'll be back with another lesson from some important people whose names we run into in the Bible. So I look forward to seeing you next week, and in the meantime, I wish you well and certainly pray God's blessings on you and your family. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.